So I wanted to talk about taking accountability. Most of my life, I did not take accountability for my actions and my life in general. I always had somebody to blame. My past, my childhood, the relationship, friends, family, whoever, job, work, it didn't matter. It was always somebody else's fault. And I just lived my life as a victim. And I just can't do it anymore. Nobody seems to be taking accountability for their actions or their reactions. When you get triggered, your first instinct is to blame because it's just easier. We have emotions and feelings and energy inside of us that just wells up and we don't know what to do with it. And the easiest outlet is to just point your finger at somebody else. It's never going to change your life. If we keep reacting the same way we have always reacted our entire lives, we are constantly going to be blaming and keeping us in the victim role. I have three things that trigger me that I still can't get a handle on. The difference now with these triggers for me is I used to have a way of dealing with it, and that way of dealing it was to put it on the other person. And it's taken me a long time and a lot of practice to not initially have that instinct to do that. After sitting with all the feelings of after getting triggered, it is like this big washover. I don't know how to explain it. It's just my whole body, it's almost like I got shot with a gun and my whole body just kind of goes limp, and you can see the expression on my face. I just lose all my energy. And I hate that feeling and I fear that feeling. And that feeling has kept me from good relationships and good friendships because I'm always afraid that I'm going to be triggered and I'm going to lose all accountability for myself because my natural instinct is to blame. I don't want to blame anymore. There's nobody to blame most of the time. I mean, there's times when people will blatantly disrespect you and you have to set a boundary, and pushing back is a natural reaction. But I'm pretty sure most of the time the reactions are just trauma responses from childhood that we've never changed. Our pathways in our brain are just mapped to react the same way. I just had something happen not too long ago where that feeling, that washed over feeling came over me. I'm like a deer in the headlights and I'm stuck and I'm miserable when I don't blame the other person because I have to sit with all of those uncomfortable feelings and I have to own them and process them and grieve them and let them go. Otherwise, I'm just going to be repeating the patterns that I've always had over and over again. I don't want to do it anymore. And the only way to do it is to take accountability for your own feelings instead of taking those negative feelings inside of you and blaming somebody else for them. The person I'm having a conversation with that triggers me, when it hits me in my gut and I just want to push back, probably has nothing to do with them. It's all about how I'm wired and the trauma responses that I have. And it is not polite to put your past on somebody else in the present. And the only way to do that is take accountability for yourself. It is extremely difficult when you grew up in a place where blame was normal. Blame was the first response. When that was modeled for you, how do you change that? Well, it's not easy. I don't like sitting with those feelings. They make me miserable. I lose all of my energy. I get depressed. I do not want to get off the couch. I've had a lot of practice with it because I've had the same response for so long, but in the last 5 to 7 years, I've been working on these triggers. And the closer I get to people, the more heightened they are and the more sensitive I am to them. So if you get triggered and your first instinct is to blame, take a deep breath and start to sit with those feelings. See, if we can sit with those feelings and become comfortable with the uncomfortable feelings, we won't feel the need to push it back on the other person. It is a process of just getting comfortable. Each time that trigger happens, just say, don't blame, don't blame, don't blame. and sit with it and feel it. If we are able to sit with those feelings without blaming, over time, those feelings lose their power and just dissipate out, where people would be able to say many things that used to trigger you, and you're not going to have the same reaction. You're not going to be perfect every time. But building that relationship with yourself is going to help with your other relationships. If I am constantly triggered and I'm pushing back on somebody else, how can that person ever trust me not to push my stuff back on them? I have to take responsibility. I have to be accountable for me, my feelings, my actions, and my reactions. I can't put it on the people around me. It gets you nowhere. It will just continue on and on. So today, start by taking accountability and stop blaming. And over time, with practice, it will get easier and easier. You want that relationship with yourself. If you don't have a good relationship with yourself, how are you going to have a good relationship with somebody else? And knowing yourself emotionally is the way to have a better relationship with yourself. When you don't have control over your emotions and your feelings and you are lashing out, you're just a walking reaction. We have to get inside. We have to sit with those feelings. We have to desensitize from the fear we have of them. Not everybody is out to get us. Not everybody is looking to trigger us. Not everybody is looking to abandon us. Not everybody is looking to disrespect us. Most people are just living their lives. Most of the time, it's how we interpret their actions. And if we can get to the point where their actions do not trigger us, we're living a happy, more fulfilled life. So take a look at the accountability you have and take a look at not blaming, because blaming will just keep you in the victim role. Have a great day. Thanks. Bye-bye.